Hi, Jeff. Everybody, welcome to another episode of Seriously. I wanted to take some time out to talk about what are they thinking in St. Louis? Are you crazy? There's a tank in the middle of your street. That tank is not there for no terrorists. It's there for Europe. He's hanging. Yes, on another more honest note, what is wrong with you, St. Louis? People of St. Louis, are you serious? There's tanks in your street. Those tanks ain't for no terrorists. Ain't that many terrorists in the world. They make up this big giant idea about there being terrorists in the world, then they start running tanks up in your street, and then pointing them at you. And in Chicago, New York, and all these other places with gun control laws, you're welcome. Your level of stupidity to actually give up your right to defend yourself from not just criminals, but the guys who took your guns from you and make you defenseless against criminals is what's causing this problem. It is time for you to stop doing that. We are in the middle of something that is so big and so important that it's going to change all of our lives. Whether you want to admit that your life is going to change one way or another, that welfare is going to be gone. You're not going to get that welfare no more after a while. There's 100 million people who are below the poverty line. That means no money. It means no money. The moment they cut you off, you're going to be fighting and eating people in the middle of the street if you don't learn your lesson. Now stop this. America is the last nation with the best chance of redemption or forgiveness or understanding. This nation was built on the idea that we would take care of ourselves, and in exchange, our government will be the best it can be. But it's turned to the government to take care of us, and we'll be the worst we can be. Do you see how that works? The more somebody feeds you, the less you're going to feed yourself. The more somebody gives you, the less you're going to do for yourself. You willing to really take that chance? Because there ain't going to be no tanks up here. I live in Kentucky. There ain't going to be no tanks like that up in here. There's going to be problems. We catch tanks out here in our streets. There's going to be violent altercations if I catch a tank in the middle of my street. It has no business there. Posse comitatus makes it perfectly clear. You have no business on the street. Get back to the base or be sent back to the base. The old-fashioned way. Now, on another note, I understand how bad things are getting and you just want to ignore them and pretend like they're not going to happen, that nothing bad's going to happen. I'm sorry, I don't know how to tell you it's going to happen. This is happening. Whether you want to admit it or not, this is going to happen. You want to see how bad it gets? Keep ignoring it. You want to see how bad it's going to get? Give up. Stay home. Watch TV. Play like you don't hear the gunfire. Pretend like you don't hear the silliness or the stupidity or irresponsibility that keeps going on in this world. Me, I'm building a backyard garden. You know why? Because minimum wage is not enough money for you to take care of yourself on. But the prices for food continue to rise beyond the level that you can't afford for the month. Anybody on minimum wage is also on government assistance. They can't support themselves without either government assistance or some assistance from somebody else. That's what their own minimum wage is all about. No, we should not raise minimum wage to $20 an hour. We shouldn't have a minimum wage to begin with. The government should not be involved in minimum wage. It's stupid to believe that your government can be your all-knowing, all-seeing parent and be your God. But the government's not your God. And stop sacrificing your children to it in these indoctrination camps. These aren't schools. They're not being educated. How come children in third grade can't even read if it's an education place? It doesn't care anything about education. You set up a union that destroys education. You don't care about that. And you need to get one of those god-awful truancy laws. Even though there ain't laws. There's no law saying you have to send your child to the school. You just made that stuff up, and they keep making stuff up, and you keep falling for it, and it's time to stop that. Now, I know I'm ranting and raving. You don't have to hear me. You don't have to hear none of this. I'm still going to say it. We on the cusp of a war that will kill everything you love if you ignore it. Everything you care about, everything that's important to you will be taken from you. Do you know why? Because you ignored it. Because you just decided to lay in the back and give up and hope that everything goes okay. That's not how it works. That's never meant to be how it works. God doesn't tolerate that. God didn't put that in me to believe that's going to work. He told me, through some people I'm not going to talk about, never give up. Ever. No matter how dire the consequences, no matter how bad it looks. Never give up and never surrender. Now it's time, I'm telling this to every single American citizen, whether you want to hear it or not, whether you're on welfare or not, or whether you can take care of yourself or not, never give up. It's time to prove your worth to your Creator. We have to do what is necessary And what is necessary is for us to simply say, no, this is not acceptable, I will not tolerate this, and there's going to be a change. And if you're willing to say that, you've already taken one of the first vital steps to making this possible. Making it possible for us to save our country. America is it. I mean it, I can see it. There will never be a country like America ever in human history. It's one country where we've ideally had the freedoms that we were given by our God, not by government. God gave us free will, and we are supposed to exercise our free will. Whether you like it or not, that's how it is. He gave us rules to go by, and as long as we go by those rules, our life will be better. It will be more fruitful, more prosperous. But it's time you actually follow those rules. It's time you actually understood that there are rules and you have to follow them if you really want this to be better for you. You're playing a dangerous game not wanting to act and behave like a child for the rest of your life. Because if you're going to act like a child, I'm more worried about the person who's actually going to let you be a child for the rest of your life. Because he's going to have some dark design on your life. This has been another episode of Seriously.